Hey guys, it's Erica here from Big Cat Creative, and today I'm going to show you how to create a featured blog post slider in Squarespace 7.1. We recently launched our new website and we've had lots of questions about how we created this browse our popular posts slider on the site. So I'm going to show you how to create something really similar today. This particular one has a bit of custom code, but what I'm going to show you doesn't require any code and has a really similar effect. If you're not sure which Squarespace version you're using, we'll link a guide down below, so check that out. We also have another method of creating featured post sliders that works in Squarespace 7.0 and 7.1. It doesn't look quite as sleek as the 7.1 version I'm about to show you, but it's a better option if you're looking for something a bit more automatic that you can use in multiple areas around your site. So if that sounds like something you would prefer, you'll want to watch that tutorial instead, and I will link that one down below too. So let's jump in. Okay, so I'm on my Squarespace 7.1 demo site, and let's work on this featured post slider. So you can add this slider on your website wherever you can add a section. So on Squarespace 7.1, you can add sections on regular pages, but you can also add them on blog pages. So I've just opened up my blog page here, and we can create it here just to show you how to actually do that. I'm going to click edit on the page. Again, you can do this on any page, but I'm doing this on the blog page, and we're going to want to add a section. So wherever you can add a section, you can add one of these featured post sliders. So go ahead and click add section. Then we're going to look for a list section. So there's different types of sections that you can add. You can add a regular page section that uses blocks. You can add list sections, or you can add gallery sections. So we're looking for a list section. So for some reason, Squarespace doesn't make it super clear which sections are which when you're scrolling through the area where you add a section, which is kind of annoying, but we're going to look for the ones that have the I over them, and it will say these sections let you quickly add content items and switch between layouts. So any section that looks like this has these arrows, or you can come down to the People tab. Sorry if this has changed by the time you're watching this video. They do change up this menu quite a bit. And these ones with these images and text, they are list sections. And it's quite easy to get confused between those and the gallery sections. So if I go down and click images, you're basically going to see the same hover. It says these sections let you quickly add content items, but these ones are actually gallery sections. So the ones under images are gallery sections, and they do work similarly, but differently than the list sections. And for this tutorial, we want to use a list section. So I'm just going to go back to people, and I'm going to choose any of the designs. It actually doesn't matter because we're going to change this. So let's just go ahead and add anyone. Okay, you've got your list section here. It's going to have some demo content in it. And basically what we need to do is just change the content to whatever blog posts you want to. And we're going to change the settings to make it a slider. So click on edit content. And we have three options here: elements, content, and design. So let's start with elements. You can toggle on the title, which is going to be the title across the top, and a button across the bottom. So those two are optional. For a featured blog post, I would probably remove the button at the bottom because we're going to want to link the individual items rather than one single button. You can leave the title on if you want to, and we can change this in a second. So for our featured slider, we have the image, we have the title, we have some body text, and you can also choose if you want the button on as well. So I'll leave it on for this example. Under content, this is where we're going to come back and we're going to actually add our posts in here manually. So with this slider, it doesn't actually automatically pull any content. This is a totally manual featured post slider. So essentially I'm taking the posts that are popular or that I want to feature on my blog or wherever you're putting this slider, and I'm putting those in manually. So I'm putting in the image manually, the title, the text, and the link. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but let's go to the design tab. So we have simple list here. This is what this current layout is. And if we click on that, we can change it to a banner, slideshow, or a carousel. So carousel is the option we'll be using for our featured post slider. And you can already see how this is going to work. We've got the arrows here, the images, the text, the button. And this is really fun because you can take this and you can totally customize it. So I'm just going to set it up as close to our slider as possible. But with these settings from here, you can really just take this and run with it however you want it to look on your site. I think even this setting looks really cool. So I'm going to center align the text. I'm going to adjust the columns. I'm going to leave the image crop at 3:2. I'm going to leave infinite scroll on and show adjacent slides on. Now we have two options here, one for style and one for size and space. So go ahead and click into style. And here you can adjust your text size, your item title, item description, size, the button. You can actually click card as well, and this is going to put a card around your featured posts. You can update where the arrows are, or if you even have arrows. So either they're at the center or they're here at the bottom. These are the options you have that are built in. And you can slightly adjust where the arrows are within the section. So if we go back and then click into size and space, you can play around with the size of the media width, so the image size, and then the placement of it. So we can make it smaller if we wanted to. We could align it depending on where the text is aligned. We can play around with the content width, so that's the width of the body of text, the placement, and then you can adjust all of the spacing here. So under space between elements, you can click on those three dots. Then you can adjust the space below its section title, so that's the space below this title. We can do the space between the image and text, space below the item title, space above the item button, and the space between the slides. We can adjust the vertical padding on the whole section, and also the position of the content within the section. So, lots of things to play around with there to get your slider looking exactly how you want it. So once you're happy with the design of your featured post slider, the last thing you can do is enter in your content. So we have the content here, like I described before, we put all of this in manually. Our title, we can change this from Meet the Team or whatever yours has to featured posts or popular posts or something like that. And then each item you can edit. So to edit an item, there will be some placeholder content in here. Just click into it. You can update the image by deleting or clicking replace. You can change the title here. So you would write your blog post title here. And then you have the description. So this is optional. You could just remove this if you didn't want a description, you just wanted a button. Or you could add a little excerpt here of the blog post. And you can add a link to the blog post. I'm going to type in click to read. And you could add a link to the blog post here if you didn't want the button style. So you would just highlight this, click on the link icon, and paste in your blog post URL. I'm going to remove that and show you how to use the button instead. So I'll just leave the excerpt as is. And then if you scroll down slightly, you can see it says button text, and you can type in here something like visit post or read post. And then you would paste your blog post URL in here. And I'll show you in a second where to actually get that URL. When you're finished in adding in your blog, you can go back and edit each of them as we just did. You can use these little dots here to rearrange the order. You can use the trash icon to delete an item, obviously, and then click add to add another item. Okay, so there's 3 more things that I want to cover here. Let's start with how to find that blog post URL. I'm going to save what I've done here. And in my blog, I'm going to go to the blog that I want to feature. So let's say that I want to feature this blog here. Click on the 3 dots and click settings. Click on content and scroll down and you'll see post URL. Here it is here. It's /blog/ whatever you've put in here for your blog post URL. So you'll want to copy this. Remember that it says /blog before, and of course yours might be different than this, so just check your post. And the URL for that, we'll just go quickly back and enter it in. Go to content, scroll down to the button. I'm going to type in /blog, then / and paste in my blog post URL. And now that's going to take that button and link people directly to that blog post. Okay, next up is a quick tip about how to update colors of these list sections. So if you're interested in updating the colors, you'll want to go into Design, site styles, colors, and depending on what that theme is set to is where you're going to adjust the colors for your section. So it works just like any other section in Squarespace 7.1. You'll set a color theme for that specific section, and then to edit the colors within that color theme, you need to come into your site styles panel, into your colors, and then edit your color palette. So this section is currently set to lightest 1. Meaning that if I want to edit any colors within this slider, I need to go into lightest 1, and I need to look for a list section. So there should be a list section carousel. We can see that now. And here you can update the colors. And just be aware though that these list section carousel settings will apply site-wide to any list section carousel that is on the lightest 1 color theme. So just reminding you that these site styles are site-wide across your whole Squarespace site. But you'll see here if I edit the title color, I can quickly change it. So that is how you update the colors of the list section. It works just like any other section in Squarespace. And lastly, if we want to know what our most popular blog posts are, we can come into analytics. Now, this is a demo site and it's not live, so I have absolutely no analytics to show you. But you can actually have a look at your popular pages under site content. And if your site has been live for a while, and if your blog has been live for a while, you should be able to scroll down here and see what your most popular pages are. And so you'll have a variety of pages from all around your site, but you'll probably notice pages from your blog, and you can see there which ones are getting the most traffic. Or, of course, if you didn't want to use the most popular posts, you can just use whatever posts that you actually want to send people to. And instead of making it a popular posts slider, it can be more of a featured post slider. So that is it. That's how to create a featured post slider in Squarespace 7.1. Remember, we do have a version for Squarespace 7.02, which also works in 7.1, and that version is more of an automatic slider. You don't have to add the content manually. So it's better if you want to use it sort of all around your site, as it's something that auto updates and you don't have to come in and manually put the content in. But I hope that was helpful. I'd love to see your sliders if you complete one. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.